All right. Hey, this is chapter 9 out of 10. Don't think in reverse. Can you believe that it's already March 10th? Second, that we got through this book so far. We have one chapter left next week. That's it. And then we're going to actually take a couple weeks off until April before we start the next round again. And the reason being is because I'm starting to institute, and I talked about this a little while ago, but am going to start instituting the leadership um, piece of Magnet Mind. So there will be leaders inside of Magnet Mind. So I'm going to take the 2 weeks between the um, the time that we're finished there with chapter 10 to April 1st or whatever that first Tuesday is in April, then we'll start again. Okay. And we'll have leaders. It'll be fun.
Be the
I'm excited.
7th,
The 7th? Okay.
April
Thank you.
7th. Yeah.
All right. That'll be the same day that we start the next Economy Creators Workshop as well. Busy day that day. Busy day. All right. I'm going to share my screen. And we're going to do the mastermind principles. Let's see. Pat, do you want to start us off?
I can do that.
Thank you.
I begin every mastermind meeting by reading these mastermind principles. I release. I release myself to the mastermind because I am strong when I have others to help me. Lorenzo, LA, I think you go by.
Got so many names.
Yeah, I believe I believe the combined intelligence of the mastermind creates a wisdom far beyond my own. Ryan,
I understand. I understand that I will more easily create positive results in my life when I am open to looking at myself, my problems, and opportunities from another's point of view. Sarah,
I decide to release my desire totally in trust to the mastermind, and I am open to accepting new possibilities. Robin.
I forgive. I forgive myself for mistakes I have made. I also forgive others who have hurt me in the past so I can move into the future with a clean slate. Okay, let me see who else is on. Sorry, I can't see. Let's change
Mary,
I can go.
my okay.
I ask the mastermind to hear what I really want, my goals, my dreams, and my desires, and I hear my mastermind partners supporting me in my fulfillment. Pat.
I accept. I know, relax, and accept, believing that the working power of the mastermind will respond to my every need. I am grateful, knowing this is so. Ryan,
dedication and covenant. I now have a covenant in which it is agreed that the mastermind shall supply me with an abundance of all things necessary to live a success-filled and happy life. I dedicate myself to be of maximum service to God and my fellow human beings, to live in a manner that will set the highest example for others to follow, and to remain an open channel of God's will. I go forth with a spirit of enthusiasm, excitement, and expectancy.
Awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you,
Julie,
everybody. I want you to look at this piece right here. I forgive. I forgive myself for mistakes I have made. I also forgive others who have hurt me in the past so I can move into the future with a clean slate. That is what this chapter is all about. Don't think in reverse. Ah, I always wondered why Bob started this chapter with a negative word, don't.
No,
Um,
yeah, I know.
I'm like, Bob. But it was 1984, so I'll give him reprieve. But I want to read the poem on the first page, on what page 172. It's called Forgive. That slight misdeed of yesterday, why should I mar? Why should it mar today? The thing he said, the thing you did, have long since passed away. For yesterday was but a trial. Today you will succeed. And from mistakes of yesterday will come some noble deed. Forgive yourself for thoughtlessness. Do not condemn the past, For it is gone with its mistakes, their memory cannot last. Forget the failures and misdeed, from such experience rise. Why should you let your head be bowed? Lift up your heart and eyes.
Yes,
Let us not look back in anger nor forward in fear, but around us in awareness. There is no time but now. Everything leading up to this moment is done. It's done. So, what we can do is focus on now so that we make not only now great, but every subsequent now great, right? The idea is we need to live for now. Bob talks about this inside of the lesson I'm studying in Thinking into Results this week is lesson 5 on the intellectual faculties. And he talks about the fact that we need to use those intellectual faculties to ignore the things that aren't going right and to shut off our senses to the stuff that isn't working for us and really focus our attention on what it is that we truly desire. And Neville Goddard, I'm reading this book too called Power of Awareness, and we talk about it sometimes inside of the mastery group, but he talks about what sin is. And he says that sin is simply missing the mark, right? So it just means that we didn't have that concept of ourselves yet, of what it is that we truly desired. So he says that the idea behind, oh, here comes Sharon, uh, forgiveness, it's forgiving ourselves, like Bob says, for mistakes we have made, but it's also forgiving ourselves and allowing ourselves to move on because stuff happens in life and people come in and out of our lives and we have, ups and downs and bumps in the road and we have divorces and we have relationship hullablues and we have all sorts of things and it generally involves other people. But the fact is we need to not only forgive whoever has hurt us in the past, for ourselves especially, because we're the ones carrying that resentfulness. And that's weighing us down rather than thinking it doesn't even have to, you know, be something, it doesn't even have to be something so big as to have been a monumental thing in our life for us to hang on to something. But we need to start letting go of the stuff because it's just weighing us down and not allowing us to move forward into the version of us who is the ideal, right? The ideal, the infinite being inside of us doesn't care. They don't care. He, she, it. God doesn't care about the past. God cares about now. Now, 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 right? So we need to start assuming that consciousness, that now consciousness, and forgive ourselves and forgive other people. Mary Morrissey talks about the fact, and Pat, maybe you can chime in here, but she talks about, and this is in Magic in Your Mind with Bob, and she talks about the fact that there was this man who came to her and he was just so angry because his best friend started an affair with his wife. And he was so angry. He's like, I just want to, he did not want to keep that man living. Let's just put it that way. But Mary Morrissey said, you need to get to the point where you can wish him well. And he's like, how am I going to do that? And she told him, she said, well, you can start with, I hope a train doesn't hit him or something like that. If a train doesn't hit him first, I can wish him well. If a truck doesn't come by and hit this guy. And then he said, you know what? After a few weeks of trying and really thinking about it, he was able to wish him well. And the reason is because he loved his wife. And he wanted her to be happy. And he said, if I want her to be happy, I want the person she's with to be happy. And so that's how he got there. So we
Mm-hmm.
kind of sometimes have to massage our way around these things, right? Does anybody have any thoughts on that?
Or like I think Mary said too that I forget what was the story. It might not be the same story there, but every time he would think about his brother-in-law, he would just get really angry. And then she said, "You've got a little nephew, and don't you really love him?" That's right. So every time you think of this brother-in-law, you get a slightest picture of your little nephew that you love in front of it.
Yeah.
And eventually that one overpowers the first one. But
Yeah.
it's letting it go.
Yeah, and replacing it. I
Mm-hmm.
think that's equally as important, replacing that, because what he did was replace that image of the brother-in-law with the little kid that
Yeah.
he loved, right? And that goes along with the idea of any habit that we have, because really what he was doing was breaking the habit of being angry when he saw that face,
Mm-hmm.
right? We're
I think
habitual
too,
beings.
when we rid something, whether it's physical or mental or whatever, that leaves a space. And we don't want to leave that space open. We refill it with something, but we get to choose what we refill it with
Mhm.
and make it something positive. It changes your mind. It changes your whole life.
Whole life. Well, if it changes your mind, it has to change your life because
Yep.
our lives are mirrors of our
Mm.
minds. Ah. Hey, if you don't know that yet, you guys, keep studying because you need to know it because that's the secret of life. Oh, that's so good. Thank you. Does anybody else have any thoughts or examples about letting things go and it turned out better after you just did? Hi, Sarah Walters.
Oh my God. It's Sarah Walters.
Oh, that you don't have anything to add to the
No, I
forgiveness piece?
do. I do. I can always add. See, the beautiful thing in the story that you shared that Mary Morrissey shares and Pat, your story, the beautiful thing is you know, I think the whole opening of this chapter that it's okay to glance back and forth in the rearview mirror. You know, I look in my rearview mirror when I'm driving. I don't think anybody else does, but I do. I'm just saying because the way I
Don't
drive,
go
I'm
there.
cognizant.
Don't go
I'm
there.
cognizant of everybody. I'm just making fun. The but the point is that if we look too much, if I'm looking in my rearview mirror too much, then I'm going to crash. The same thing goes with our feelings about the past. And I think what I got from all of this first part is that our memory, our dwelling on the past circumstance is only going to keep us stuck. And the only way we can get unstuck and unleash what's possible is just to focus on the now, focus on the present, and that's where all the creative energy is. And that's what you two were describing in these circumstances. And for me, it comes up all the time for me. And one of the things is relationships. When I've been in a really good, strong, what I thought was strong relationship with someone, and it just disappeared, it just totally, you know, now you're just somebody that I used to know. They're gone. I used to kind of beat myself up and dwell on that, but not anymore. I think about only the good things, and I only focus on what I can do now with what I have, and looking forward to the next meaningful relationship.
Yeah.
Well, and bringing up relationships, I think it's important for us to remember that the most important relationship that we have is with ourselves, and that people come in and out of our lives to help us grow. And sometimes we need something to slap us in the face, not physically, but something to wake us up and to say, "Oh, I needed to learn that. I needed to grow into this person." And I mean, hey, I was married before and I was divorced, and guess what? Much better now, right? And but I became a different person in the entire process. I definitely grew. And had I remained in that first marriage, I would not have grown to this extent at this point in time in my life. I know it for a fact, right? So it required me to grow for myself. And so there is no resentment. I mean, I don't know what he has, but I have none. And it's important that I don't remember who said this. I kind of think it was Wallace D. Wattles, but he talked about the fact that not everybody has to be everything to us, which definitely makes sense in the on the surface level for sure. But if you look deeper at it, not everybody's meant to be in our lives forever. They really aren't. And just like a pet isn't meant to be in our life forever, a human being isn't meant to be in our life forever. And if we become dependent on somebody else to be happy or to be whatever it is that we are, then we're missing the boat. And that was probably the biggest lesson I learned in that divorce is that, well, I always have me, right? And that can go two ways, right? It can go one way is you always take yourself with you. So if you married the wrong person and you don't grow as a result of it, guess what? You're probably marrying the wrong person again. Or it can also be you take yourself with you, meaning you can look inside for strength, looking for that inner guidance that we all have within us and becoming more resilient and becoming more resolute on really relying on ourselves, right? So I think it's really important. And I have an example. This is good. So there's this guy, Martin, he has a taco shop and it's really, really good. But when we were there one day, he was talking to Mark and Mark got all mad. He's like, I don't like the way that he thought about this. And I was like, you know what? Maybe he's just the guy in your life that makes good tacos. Maybe he's just the taco guy. He doesn't have to be your best friend. You don't have to agree with everything he says or does, just like his tacos, right? And I don't know if Mark learned anything from it, but it doesn't matter. I was like, it was a aha moment for myself too, is not everybody's going to be everything for us. They serve a purpose in our lives just like we serve purposes in theirs. What do you guys think about that? I see nodding. What do you think? Go ahead, Robin.
Even your spouse isn't going to be everything for you. And to
Oh,
expect that, you're setting them up for failure.
well, yeah, but
When
at
I have
least your
brides come
marriage.
in here, I said, and they'll have their bridesmaids there and they're laughing and giggling. And I said, promise yourself something. Don't ever let go of your girlfriends because your husband is not going to be able to do everything for you or be that everything for you. You're still going to need your girlfriends.
Yeah, that's true.
And
That's
if he
true.
expects you not to be contacted with the girlfriends, you're marrying the wrong dude.
Ooh. Whoosh. Guess what?
That.
Learn that the hard way. Go ahead, Robin.
Yep, me too.
But I do like that where you say people are in your life maybe for a certain period of time, and that we sometimes try to hold on to them, and maybe that time span has passed that season, and it's like you're being pushed into another season of growth. And
Mhm.
sometimes we really do have to let people go so we can grow. Yeah, I've sort of learned that in the journey of life that you have to let people go so you can grow as individuals. And how do you say? And it always made me reflect back on myself, like what was I bringing to the table? What kind of friendship? What kind of person am I? What are my strengths? And and it helped me sort of reevaluate myself and look at my values and the things that I do, as you say, maybe do well or sort of assess myself well. And once I did that, I was like, oh, okay. Gave me some education, like, oh, okay, don't get to something that's, sort of upside down, that just won't value me as a person. So,
Well, yeah, and when we tap into what it is that we do well, we know how we can help other people in such a more meaningful way. I'm here to help you stay more positive, or I'm here to, whatever it might be, to whatever it is that you feel like you contribute, like you said, Robin. And I think that's very powerful. And it also gives you that strength to know who you are in every situation, that you're unchangeable.
Mhm.
And if you're not meant to be with them and they're not meant to be with you at that point in time, it's all right. For example, I go to the barn every day, and sometimes people talk to me and sometimes they don't. And you know what? I'm just me. And I do notice, not just at the barn, but anywhere, people change around me, and I'm just like, meh. And somebody even told me that yesterday. They're like, you know what? You walk and talk and you live the life you say you live. And I'm like, well, yeah, it's way easier that way. So if you haven't tried it, I would say try it. If you feel like you're changing every time you walk into a room, I suggest doing what Robin said and assess your strengths and own them and be confident in them and be confident in yourself and say, this is my energy, this is who I am, and I'm good at it, and I'm unapologetically me. I think that that's important. Yeah. Go ahead with Pat.
I'm going to say to that. I think sometimes we outgrow people. I
Mm-hmm.
walked away
Mm.
from a 30-year marriage because he was quite content staying right where he was. And I was still wanting to learn and grow. And you grow apart. I really believe that you could outgrow a person, though. Best
Mhm.
thing I ever did, though,
Mm-hmm.
That's
because that
Yeah.
great.
it was just, I had control of my life and I didn't want to be stagnant.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, and we get to choose how those people, show up for us too. And sometimes we do need to, they serve they serve their purpose, right? And in that way. And that was 30 years of your life. That was something very significant for you,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
And
Well,
of
at first
course,
that I threw it away. I said, no, I spent it. Really, honestly, I spent it. I lived it. I didn't throw it away.
yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Perfect.
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm
Yeah, that's
grateful for the
good,
things that
Pat.
were good that come out of it. The rest of it, it's just done.
Hmm. Yeah. And, too, that, how they say, if you love them, let them go, that type of thing, and I have a colleague who, you might know who she is. Her name is Kathleen Cameron. She started as a PGI consultant like me, and she and her husband actually got divorced, but there was absolutely no animosity, and the only reason why is because they just had a discussion of what marriage was, what was important in a marriage to each of them. And their answers were so far different from one another
Mhm.
that they decided that it was time to part ways. But guess
Yeah.
what? They're the best co-parents, and they own a business together. And they're still thriving together apart.
They still respect each other, even though
Yeah.
the marriage didn't work.
Right.
I think that's the
Right.
key.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I'm in that camp.
Yeah.
Robin brought up everybody's in your life for a reason, and I say that a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And the woman that's still in my life, we parted ways in 1997, and we're still friends, and we still do things together, and we both share our gifts of music. And I'm so excited to say that we and another person, three of us, are going to be featured on my birthday, May 24th. And we're going to do at least two special songs. And then it's just it you have to think about it in a way. I mean, Bob goes through this in this chapter. I think he spends half of this chapter on the people that are just not getting it, quote unquote. They're floundering. And then I think on page 186, he says, therefore, look up, look ahead, and form the image of the life you choose to live. Then everything you touch or come in contact with will grow and expand and express itself in a greater and greater way. So that's why I stay connected with this woman, because every time we stay in contact with each other, we both grow, and we keep getting together on occasion to share our mutual gifts. And it's a beautiful thing to have someone that you've shared special times with that's still in your life. And then there's the others that just fall away, and they fall away naturally. There's no rhyme or reason. It's just
Mhm.
like Mary was saying, they just grow apart. But in this particular case, we don't have kids that we nurture, but we have a common bond that we come back to and we celebrate.
Mhm.
And then there's others that they're gone, they're out of the picture. Like I said, now you're somebody that I used to know. So it's
Yeah,
like they're
it's a
gone. It's like
mutual,
whoop,
yeah, but it's a
poof.
mutual respect.
Mutual respect is important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Hmm.
So I think what we're getting to is forward thinking, and that's what creates momentum, and being creative in the present, because you can't, I don't think you can be that creative dwelling on the past. I think you need to understand and honor it, and then move to the present again, like Mary was saying. So,
Well, and I think we need to make this distinction too of what it means to be in the now. Because just acting based on what we've always done in the now isn't what he's talking about. What he's talking about is choosing who you are being now and acting from that point, that mindset, that belief about yourself. So if, this is You Were Born Rich, he talks about money. So if we think, well, I haven't earned any money, I haven't made any money in my business, or I haven't done certain things. And so every day I feel this way. And so how am I going to act today based on how I have felt every day up until now? Acting in the now on that vibration is not going to help us move forward. But if we use our imagination, one of our other intellectual faculties, and imagine where it is we want to be, what would we love, and think about that place and think about being there, and then think, okay, that version of me exists. I just saw her. She's right there, right? In your imagination. How does she act now? And it's important to realize that we act according to who we are being now. So if I were, when we closed the gym, I had to do a major overhaul on my self-image because I was so wrapped up in the sport that people could continue to offer me jobs and things like that. And I was like, I can't do it, as even though I could, I can't do it if I am making this shift because otherwise I'll get sucked back in and continuously do it. So even though it would I knew I could do it in my sleep, not that you should, but I'm just saying I could. And I would be acting in the now, wouldn't I? But I wouldn't be acting as if I were somebody different and somebody new who I am churning into, right? So a lot of us are business owners and aspiring business owners. So how are we leading ourselves? And leading ourselves means coming from that version of you that's successful, that has the business and everything that you truly desire. And so, one of the questions that I ask myself, even when I'm doing the laundry and doing the dishes, is how does this version of me, how does she do the dishes? How does she make her bed? How does she do the laundry? How does she fold these clothes? Simple things. And you can begin going through your entire day as that new version of yourself. With the little things because you're taking those little things with you. I don't know about you, but I'm still going to probably wipe up crumbs on my counter if, when I get there. It's going to happen. I'm still going to wipe up my kitchen counter. So take yourself through your day and just place yourself into that mindset of that version. And guess what? That's not wishful thinking. That is calling that version of you into the now. Make the future the present. Neville Goddard says that. Make the future the present and act on it now. Isn't that great? What do you guys think about that?
I like that. One of the things I do in some of my demonstrations, and I'll hold up an hourglass and I'll tell them, this is the part that you've already lived. This is the future, but you don't know when that's going to run out. This is the now in the middle. That's the most important part.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, oh, I never thought about that way.
Yeah. Bob shares that too.
Does
He
he?
always
Maybe
has
that's why I heard it.
maybe he has an hourglass. He always had an hourglass on his desk, and he's like, that's it. And he talks about the fact that he had a friend who was 16 who his life was snuffed out in a second. He crashed his car. But and he had his whole future in front of him, everybody thought. But his grandmother was saying, "Oh, I'm going to be dead tomorrow," when she was 60. And so Bob was saying that dichotomy between the outlooks that we have, we only have the now. She's saying, I'm so old, and he's like, I have my whole future ahead of me. But both of them only had now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Ryan, what'd you say about future memory? Oh, you quoted me. Thanks.
Yeah, that was from a call we had, I guess probably a couple months ago. It stuck with me.
Use future memory to change the past. So that is also from Neville Goddard. And what that is called revision. And so if there's something that occurred today or yesterday or in the past that you didn't like, he uses the example of this woman who had severe pains in her hip because she fell off a swing when she was a little kid. And so it caused her pain her entire life. She was an adult by this point. And what he had her do is rework that scene from her past. And so instead of playing it back and seeing herself fall off the swing and hurt herself, he had her imagine swinging and getting off on her feet and thinking, "Oh, what a great swing set ride," or whatever you call a swing. And it wasn't very long until she felt this sharp pain in her hip, and then from then on, everything was gone, and there was no residual feeling about it at all. And so that is a very explicit way that you can actually change events in your life because you can change your future with your imagination. Isn't that amazing? We have, Bob quotes Napoleon Hill, and Napoleon Hill says that the imagination is the most miraculous power conceived by man. It's just the most. Sarah, do you have that quote? What is the quote? Look at her. She's like, "That's wrong, Mary."
No, no, no. Yes, but it wasn't Napoleon Hill, wasn't it Napoleon?
No, I think it was Napoleon Hill. He said
Okay,
Napoleon
sorry.
Hill said that. Let's see.
Okay. I
Imagination is
trust you. I mean,
no.
you're the boss.
He says imagination is literally the workshop of the mind. Let's see.
Okay.
Anyway, what else did you want to say?
Nothing.
You've
I
been
agree.
quiet today.
Well, I agree with everybody. I think so, Um, and I was especially like it was the first time that it came to me when Pat was talking about um it's about when you let go, well, when you try to forgive that you bring something in, it had never occurred to me that you would replace it because I was just thinking, yeah, we're not forgiving anybody here. No, 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 it's not happening because it's so hard. I find it really challenging. But I can see that when we look at, in this case, we were talking about the nephew and about the thing, I understand that. Yes, that makes so much sense. I don't know why it hadn't come to me because I've only read the book like 5 times. So thank you.
Well, also in the next chapter, it's all about the vacuum law of prosperity, right? And so making space for the good that you desire. I think it's the same thing. Yeah, so Napoleon Hill famously described imagination as the most marvelous, miraculous, inconceivably powerful force the world has ever known. Ooh, boom. It is because it is like what Ryan just quoted me saying, was that we can change our future by imagining ourselves as something different, something new. I've done that.
Yeah.
And guess what? Everyone in this room has done that. You may not know that you've done that, but that's what happens. That's how you use your imagination. When we vividly imagine the future we desire, our emotions and behavior begin to align with that vision. That's how we step out of reverse and into forward motion. Is that Bob from this chapter? Yeah, yeah. It's
Paraphrasing what I got from it, but that's what resonates with me the most.
Yep. Yeah, because the thoughts cause the feelings. When we vividly imagine the future we desire, that's thinking. We're causing ourselves to think. We feel it. It feels good. You know what? I imagine horses all the time and it feels good. And you know why horses keep showing up? Because I'm always in that vibration, right? So if I used to always be in the gymnastics vibration, what showed up? Gymnastics and everything that came with it. But now I know more and I know that I can have anything I want through my imagination. That's how you move forward. It really is. Anybody else have any closing thoughts before we sign off on chapter 9? There's some good exercises in the Born Rich Foundation's workbook. Remember, you can get that. You can either print it off the member portal or you can get one of these guys, a spiral one, if you want it. The link is in there. Um, Anybody else have any thoughts, comments? Go ahead, Ryan.
I just want to say the past is not it. The past is just for reference. It's just a reference. It's not residence. You don't want to stay there too long because you want to stay in building your future and thinking from the what you want and coming from that and building on that as much as you can. But it's okay to reference the past, but just don't make it your residence.
You can't change anything from your past. No, you can't.
Yeah. I mean, hold on to the vision that you hold for yourself in the future and make that your main thought.
Yep. Yep. By the way, everybody, I don't know if you know it, but I created this economy creators quiz and I love it and it's so much fun. So I would love
Didn't
for
we
you
do
to
that?
take it. Pardon?
Didn't we do that? I started to do that and I thought, this is what we already did in the challenge, wasn't it?
Some of it well, I've I've revamped it. So it'll be different questions than they were
Okay.
in the challenge, actually.
Okay. I can do it.
Slightly different, not 100% because it's really I've just tailored them and made them better, in my
Okay.
opinion. But yeah, take the quiz, everybody. Take the quiz. And it's helpful because it helps you gain clarity on where you are either excelling in your economy or where you need some structure or reinforcement so you can better build the economy around yourself. So that's really what it's for. So you can take a look and see where you're at. And yeah, we can talk about it if you want to. There you
Thank you,
go.
Mary.
You're
Thank you.
welcome,
Thank you for
everybody.
putting that there.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right, everyone. Next week, chapter 10, the vacuum law of prosperity. Aunt Marge's curtains. That's a big one. Everybody's going to go home and clean out their closets.
Oh, I did this weekend.
Oh, see, there you go.
I
You're
have
ahead of the curve.
5 garbage bags of things to take to the Goodwill. And I
Wow.
put something in there that I have been hanging on to for 49 years. And I
Wow.
let it go.
Go ahead, Pat.
Oh,
It's just, I said,
good for
I want my
you.
Go
closet.
ahead, Pat.
I took everything out. The only thing that's in my closet is things I can go in, put my hands on, put it on, and go out.
Go
Good
ahead,
for
Pat.
you.
Ooh,
Feels
I,
so, I feel like I lost 20 pounds.
yeah, you did.
free.
20 pounds
It's
of
freeing.
clothes.
Yeah. I'm
Ooh,
going to go through my house. I'm going to go through the studio. That's my goal for this summer.
I like it.
great.
I
Let
love
go.
it. Good for you. Good for
Hey,
you. Go
Pat,
ahead, Ellie.
Sir,
I want to tell let's do that together.
Ooh, you want
go
an
through the house.
accountability partner?
Yes,
Okay.
Oh, that's great.
because I
I
need
don't
to do
have your
that real
contact
bad.
information, but
Here,
yeah.
I'll connect you two on Facebook. How's that?
Okay. That sounds
Uh-huh.
good.
Wonderful.
Yep,
That
I'll
is
do it.
great.
Good for you guys. I love it.
Yeah.
Connect.
Mm,
Ellie and Pat. Okay, got it.
that is
I'm
good.
on it.
That is good.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Thanks
Thank
for
you,
a
Mary.
great
Thank you,
discussion,
everyone.
and we will see you next week for
See
chapter 10.
everyone next
All right,
week.
bye.
Bye bye.